Welcome to Block 8, Section 1, Post-War America. Somebody said that it was a little difficult to hear me talking up at the board, so unless there are specific images I'd like you to see, I'm going to lecture from here. All I need to do now is put like nice things behind me. Military demobilization. Just like after World War I, after World War II, the American soldiers wanted nothing more than to just come home. And the war was very, very expensive. So that's exactly what the American people got. The United States had 12 million men in uniform in 1945. By 1946, 12 months later, that number was down to 2 million. 10 million men were demobilized and sent back to their regular lives. Most Americans held the attitude that once the war was over, the country did not need a large military, and demobilization was very, very rapid. It was not just the demobilization of manpower that took place in the immediate months following Japanese surrender. All of those factories that had been making nothing but, war materials for 4, 5, 6 years now, 7 years now, had to be reconverted to civilian use. New cars were actually built in late 1944 for the first time. Obviously, orders for military goods fell. You didn't need 20,000 fighter planes anymore. So there was 20,000 fewer, or 19,000 fewer fighter planes being built. Rationing was abandoned. Controls were relaxed or abandoned. Controls on prices were relaxed. Controls on wages were relaxed or abandoned. The United States economy no longer was so tightly controlled by the War Industries Board because there was no war anymore. So it went back to, in large degree, a free market economy. All of that disruption in the economy led to a recession for a couple reasons. One, you have 10 million men all of a sudden coming home saying, I want a job, without the economy being ready to absorb that amount of people. Plus, all of the industries having to turn over. You can't be producing tanks in a factory in Detroit on Tuesday and cars in a factory on Detroit on Wednesday. It takes quite a bit of time. So there was a brief recession from 1946 to 1947. Of course, as people tend to do, people blamed President Truman. A lot of people were very concerned that after the war was over, it was going to go right back to the way it was during the Depression, with 10, 15, 18, 20% unemployment, with a very slow-growing GDP. A lot of people were worried that the miseries of the Depression would come roaring back once wartime production ended. And that was a really big concern for a lot of people for a few years after the war itself came to a close.